So the Proteas women getting off to another win in this particular World Cup. It's the first win against New Zealand in this particular tournament. So props goes to the Proteas women for entertaining us once again. Getting up 3 a.m. in the morning has been 100% worth it with the cricket that been playing, because there's a lot of cricket. There's patches of it that is brilliant, and then there's parts of it where you can see they can improve. So I think because you can see and we can talk about where they can improve, that's why we are enjoying it so much, because while they are improving, they are still winning games, and that I think is the most important thing currently. So we have an exciting panel for you today. Some people that you haven't seen on the channel in a while, and I'm excited to bring them back on the show. So we will be discussing the women's game first up, and then we'll go into the test match and test series, test squad that was announced from South Africa's point of view. Some selections there that we're going to speak about that we maybe were a bit surprised about, maybe not. With all the IPL guys going back to or going to India to go play in the IPL, we're left with kind of players on the fringes, next in line to play for the Proteas, and this was always going to tell us a lot about the squad. So we're going to be discussing it and trying to get into the minds of the selectors to see where they are in their thinking when it comes to the test squad and the future of this test team. But let's get straight into today's video, guys. If you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please click that notification bell and click subscribe for all future videos, of course. That's where you'll get all the updates. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, and share. That's why we get into recommended feeds on YouTube. So please get involved with that. But you know, the number one the number one question I have for you guys is, can you please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly? Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month, including all back issues, 100% free. The current one is about the women's game, about the Proteas women's preparations for the World Cup. And there's some excellent insight in there that you guys can learn from Hilton Moring, from Sune Lys, and as well as from some other guys as well. So very excited about this. Go ahead and read it, because it will still give you some insight into how South Africa got to the stage where they are now. 4 out of 4, unbeaten in this World Cup so far, looking really good, like they are improving constantly after every game. So get involved there. So guys, without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show, review show, couple of things in one, squad selection show. We're going to be talking about everything on today's show. It's a bit different from the normal show. As you can see, we have a massive full panel here to discuss Proteas women as well as the test squad selection. So with me today, I've got Aditya, I've got Werner, I've got Craig, I've got Lisha, all with us today to discuss this. Welcome to the show, everybody. Really excited to talk to all of you. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with Lisha because she is going to have to leave halfway through the show. So I wanted to get her points first and foremost. Let's just get your overview of the World Cup campaign so far. I think from my perspective, we've spoken about the Proteas women in depth on plenty of other occasions. But I would like to hear your thoughts at this point. We haven't caught up about them. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Are you impressed? Where can they improve? I would like to hear everything from your perspective.
Yo, that's a lot. First of all, hello everyone. It's nice to be back. Yeah, it's been a while. Um, the World Cup has been very nerve-wracking, to be honest. Like I came into this with no high blood pressure, and I'm sure I'm gonna leave with high blood pressure. The Proteas, like though they won 4 out of 4, like it's a massive feat, and also defeating England after so many years in a World Cup. It's something that we should be proud of. But these close games is really it's some people would say that they enjoy it because it shows the Proteas keep their nerve in pressure situations. But for me, I look at it as against like a team like Australia that's been very dominating in the World Cup. We can't go in with such I don't want to say mediocre cricket, but like we lose wickets at crucial stages and then we just lose it and then we don't play sensible anymore. So like it's been nerve wracking though we won. I'm proud that we won 4 out of 4, but like I feel like we can do more, especially with the batting. Like today's game, especially like Lizelle Lee's run out and the way Trisha went out, the way Minion went out, the way Shabnam went out, it was all unnecessary because we had the upper hand from the start. All we needed to do was look for the singles, rotate the strike, play sensible cricket. Like when there's a bad ball, put it away. We can't rely on Marizan Cup to come in the middle and then smash. What if she has a off day one game in the World Cup? And then another play like I don't want to mention players, but your Tasman Brits has really been cringe-worthy, guys. Like I don't want to watch her when she bets. Like when she bets, I don't watch because it's like, is she gonna go out now? Why can't she hit the ball off the square? Why is she not looking for the singles? And then the dot balls build so much pressure on her that it forces her to play mock shots, where she wanna go over the top or whatever, come out of the crease. And that's unnecessary. Like today especially was unnecessary. Like I said, they needed to rotate the strike more, and that's how you build the scoreboard pressure. You put a pressure back on to the bowling side. So that was a bit. It's been a good World Cup. It's been nerve wracking, but I feel like our batting really needs to be looked at. Like the number 3 spot, Tasman Brits. I think she needs to rest. Bring someone else in. But then I made a very mean comment to one of my friends the other day, who's also a cricket fanatic. And I'm gonna say it. I like to be salty, Miss. I said the Proteas are basically choosing the best, worst passenger. So it's between Lara Goodall and Tasman Brits. Like, who's the worst, best option at this point? Because I really feel like Tasman has been a passenger. So I feel like if they're not going to rest her, she needs to really step up the game, because the pressure in the middle order it's a lot, and when it doesn't have to be like today and the previous games, they make mountains out of molehills where they can play sensible cricket, look for the do the strike rotation, look for the singles, and then when there's a bad, we'll put it away. Like I just feel like the batting needs really like a lot of work, and then the bowling's been fine. Like it's really been fine. Like the bowlers really come together, bowling well in tandem. So like I just feel like our batting really needs to, because we can't go in to a game against Australia and hope to win off Marizan Cup.
Mhm. Thanks, Lisha. And I like that. A raw opinion from her. She didn't hold back over there. I want to go to Craig next. And what I want to talk to you about over here is because there's a lot of points that Lisha made. Now, I was sitting at watching the game and I was looking at match situation. Now, I'm someone that is a big fan of match situation. I think that squads or 11s can be flexible according to match situation. So at the time, I think if you're losing an early wicket, we've clearly seen that Tasman Brits has been struggling with the new against the new ball in one-day cricket. In T20 cricket, it seems to be a lot more expressive because of the power plays, of course, and the gaps in the field. She seems to be able to play an attacking brand of cricket very easily when she's playing T20 cricket at the top of the order. But in one-day cricket, it seems like she's getting bogged down in a way. She's been struggling to get runs and she's eating away at deliveries. Now, at the particular point when you've gotten a situation like South Africa has, when they have Lizelle Lee and they have Laura Wolfert. Lizelle Lee, kind of a big hitting type of attacking batter, and then you've got someone that is a stroke player like Laura Wolfert that likes to also run between the wickets. Lizelle doesn't necessarily like to run between the wickets. So at that particular point, when you lose Lizelle Lee, it would have made more sense for, because there's pressure as soon as you lose a wicket like Lizelle, because you are hoping that she's going to set up the innings with Laura Wolfhard. But when you lose her, you bring in someone that is going to do the same or maybe even or worse job or the same job as what Lazelle's going to do with regards to standing and delivering. And Tasman was looking like she's trying to get off the mark with a big shot and not trying to rotate the strike. Whereas Sune Lucy has been doing that consistently. She's been rotating the strike well. So I think in that 3-4 position, if you lose Lazal Lee, it could be smart for them to maybe bring Sune earlier in, and so that they can rotate the strike, and then it suits your best batters' game, because that would suit her game a lot more than Laura. Because I felt that by Tasman eating up deliveries, she put pressure back on Laura. When she lost her wicket, Sune started rotating the strike and taking the pressure off Laura so that she can play a little bit more freely and take and absorb the pressure as a captain, as a batter. So maybe South Africa can look at those type of things. Craig, what do you think about those positions when it comes to selection and team dynamics, when it comes to 1 to 6, 1 to 7, where depending on how many batters you have? Do you see that working? Maybe switching according to situations.
Yeah, so I mean, I think as you mentioned, I mean, Sune is fantastic at rotating the strike and just sort of keeping the scoreboard ticking over, whereas Tasman has like always made quite a sort of pedestrian start to innings and struggled to sort of find her feet, so to speak. And I think, you know, in Lizelle Lee, you have someone who's going to take the game and take the attack to the bowling attack, whereas Tasman is slightly more circumspect. But I almost think that maybe against Australia and going into the rest of the tournament, perhaps she needs to almost be viewed as this is going to sound hectic, but like almost the sacrificial lamb. So in other words, just have a go and have a dip, and, you know, obviously rotate the strike in the initial stages of her innings, but then sort of try and hit it out a bit and try and up the tempo, so then Laura can then play more of her natural game, because obviously at the top of the order, you know, it's preferable if the other batsmen tend to bat around Laura, and Laura sort of anchors the innings, so to speak. So I think either they've got to bring, as you say, maybe move Sune up the order to 3, is it? Hey, yeah. And just try and add a bit more tempo to the innings, or they need to just get Tasman to just bite the bullet and just try and play a more attacking brand than what she has to date.
Because Werner, it doesn't look like, for example, that number 3 position is a problem. Even if Lara Goodall comes in, she hasn't necessarily looked like she's settled in a role as well. She's also looking like she's struggling to get off the mark and trying to find shots to get herself off the mark. But what I want to ask you as well is, because being obviously you commentated to this game, and it looked, there was a time when I'm sitting there and I'm like, I was never necessarily worried. And I even messaged in the Offside Maidens group. I said, don't worry, girls, we still have enough batters. You know, we still got enough batters coming in. But then it shocked me when the approach that happened was weird to me, because I was like, Trisha Chetty is coming into the situation where it suits her. You are ahead of the run rate. You just have to hit the ball around the ground and give the strike to Marizan Cup. And that's all you have to do, literally. There's no need for you to go for big shots. And then that's exactly what happens. At certain points, they lose their wickets. And it's almost like a brain, I'm going to say brain fart again. This is Dean Alger's famous term. But Werner, when you come to, when you were looking at it, I mean, where can South Africa improve? Let's rather look at it from that angle. And what moments do you feel could have been avoided?
Yeah, obviously we want the batting to improve, even though we have won all 4 games, which I'm very glad about. But we were cruising today, right? We were at 160 for 2, cruising to the total, no need for any rash shots. Then we lost 3 quick wickets. Not 2 rash shots, but we lost 3 quick wickets. And then it was Marizanne Kapp and Chloe Tryon, who's formed good partnerships in this World Cup so far. But then Chloe Tryon threw a wicket away when we just needed a runner ball. Then Trisha Chetty came in and I was on commentary and I was saying, this is a great situation to have a batter like Chloe Tryon coming in because she's good with just nudging the ball around, getting the gap. She'll give Marizanne Kapp the strike and they should be fine. Then she goes for a big shot. And I'm like, what's happening? Ishmael comes in. She goes out to a big shot. And I'm like, can somebody just please stay with Marizanne Kapp? That's all I'm asking. Just stay with her. Get her on strike. She'll win us the game. She's ice cool. She'll take us home. Eventually she did, because that's just the type of player she is. But it was reckless in that time. It wasn't very sensible. I think I called it needless. So yeah, we just need some calm heads, some logical thinking in that middle order. We have the batters to do it. I think in terms of Brits, it has been a bit disappointing. It's a tough one with her because I know the hitting ability she has. And I feel maybe they could move her down the order a bit. I'd rather have Mignon de Prier at 3, somebody who's very good at rotating the strike, hitting the gaps. She'll probably be able to use the power play to good effect, hit those gaps, get some boundaries in between quick running with Lara Wolfart or Lizao Lee or whoever's at strike at the other end. I thought Lizao Lee looked very good until she was run out today, which was also her own fault for not running hard enough between the wickets. So there was a bunch of dismissals that were basically our own fault, which is the disappointing part because I know how good our batting lineup can be if everybody is firing. Obviously, right now, Lizao Lee hasn't quite fired yet. Tasman Brits hasn't. Mignon de Prier has had a bad couple of months with the bat. No matter how experienced she is, we do expect a lot more from her. And then, obviously, Wolfart has stepped up throughout, but we can't expect that to happen in every match. What if she has an off day in the semi-finals? Then we need the other batters to be able to step up. We can't expect Wolfart to hit a 50 or 70 plus in every match. It's not going to happen because you are going to get a good delivery or you are going to maybe get run out or whatever the case may be. So we do need the other batters to step up. But yeah, I think mostly it's the approach that's important. Just keeping calm. It's because they, as I said, they're all good batters. We've seen what they can do. There's no reason to be 160 for 2 and then struggling to get to 228 or 229 today. Being in control, they needed I think it was 90 of 120 balls. I mean, you should be cruising that. There's no reason to be going for those massive hits when you know Marizanne Kapp is at the other end striking it beautifully. So just some logical thinking. I think obviously it's a stressful situation. This is a World Cup, so the stress is high. So I understand maybe it gets to 1 or 2, but you'd expect your more experienced players in Chloe Tryon and Trisha Chetty to be the ones to be, okay, no, we don't need that much. Let's just rotate the strike. Let's get the team across the line. So it was a bit disappointing in that sense. But at the other end, again, I'm very happy that we're winning in those situations. Yes, we're making it hard for ourselves, but it's good to see us still pulling through. I mean, it's no mean feat to be 4-4. Having defeated England for the first time in over 20 years in a World Cup, having defeated New Zealand for the first time ever in a World Cup, those are some big achievements and some positive signs heading into the Australia match. So yes, we have a lot to improve with the batting especially. I think with the bowling as well, today wasn't as good as it was against England. We saw a lot of wides. We saw Sune Lees bowling tons of full tosses. Obviously it was hard on her. Coming into, she had to bowl a lot more today with Klaas going off after 2 overs. That was a tough situation, but I felt she handled the bowling changes very well. Made sure that everything was sorted. The last 8 overs were divided between the 3 main bowlers, and it was that passage of play that brought the score back down to 229 when they probably could have scored 250 to 60 plus. So I thought that was a very good tactical planning by Sune. I thought her field placements have been good as well. Sometimes maybe she could put the sweeper out on the offside. There's been a few easy boundaries there, but those are minor stuff that they can work out as they go along. But I thought Sune Lees has been quite good as captain, and she's definitely led from the front with the bat as well. So overall, happy with the team. Minor improvements, obviously, just some logical sense with the batting, but all in all, quite happy with where we are. And obviously, 4 out of 4, I don't think we should be complaining too much.
Before I get to my question for Aditya, I know Lisha, you have to run. So can you just give your final thoughts before you say bye to the fans?
Yeah, I agree with Werner and Craig. It is minor adjustments that we need to make, but still we have to make them. But all in all, I'm really happy with 4 out of 4. It's been quite a ride watching them, like it really has been. And I just wish them luck for the rest of the World Cup. You know, if we can iron out those creases in the batting, then I'm sure we're gonna reach the final and then bring the cup home, you know, because we really do have the potential to do that. We have the batting, we have the experience, and the bowlers are also first class, you know. So I really hope we do get through, and in the next game we play more we play more sensible cricket with strike rotation and all that. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Lisha. We'll get you back again very soon. We would like your insight in the future. So please come on again. Let me know
Most
when you would like to come
definitely
on.
invite me. I'm here.
Yeah,
Invite.
okay, I'll do so. See you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Good luck.
It's been fun. Sad that I
See
have to
you.
leave. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Cool. Guys, okay, Aditya, your turn. What I want to talk about here is, so normally in batting lineups, you'll see the bigger hitters as you go lower down, right? South Africa's in reverse almost. The bigger hitters are all on the top, and we kind of funnel down to like the strike rotators as we go lower. Minion Dupree, surely she will. Minion Dupree and Trisha Chetty, I feel, surely they could operate maybe that 3-4 position. I mean, 3 or 5 or 3 and 5 positions, respectively. I would think, because you could bring Tasman Brits a lot later on, later in the innings, when it's going to suit her game a lot more. I feel where she can go out and have a license to kill and not thinking about rival, because I think she's worried. I think at the moment she's being contained like she is because of she's worried about keeping and preserving a wicket. I think that might be keeping in her head. She can't just play that free flowing cricket that we know she can play. But can you, with regards to that, is it too disruptive to make such a massive change to a batting lineup mid World Cup? I know you will be able to probably bring out the archives over here with regards to times when people have done it before, or teams have done it before successfully.
Yeah, teams have done it successfully. I don't know what the thinking is behind playing Mignon Dupree at 5, because I agree with you. She should be somewhere in that top 4. And what's happening at the moment is that if you look at Tasman Brits, fantastic talent, but if you're striking at 50 in an ODI game, you face 35, 40 balls, then you can't. Then that's when you're putting more pressure on yourself and the team, because then you can't afford to get out. Then you have to make it count and stay around till the end, which hasn't been happening, of course. And I completely agree with the analysis here that in virtually all of these games, South Africa has been cruising, and then towards the end, in those last 60, 70 runs, they find ways to put themselves under more pressure, which I don't think is necessary, of course. So if there is an aspiration now for the Proteas going forward, is for them to be a lot more clinical in the way that they approach run chases. But to answer your question, I think the most famous example of a batter changing positions was MS Dhoni in the 2011 World Cup final. He had a terrible World Cup, from game 1 to the final, and then in the final he decided to promote himself from number 6 to number 4, and he scores a match-winning 91. So it's obviously happened. There is an indication of it, but whether or not it needs to be done to a winning team, I don't know. But I think it would be wise to have Mignon Dupree in that top 4.
Yeah, so I'm going to move on from this particular thing. Let's give my points quickly before we move on to the next topic. But it's interesting that we're talking about still negatives, even though this has happened. South Africa unbeaten in this tournament so far. Played great cricket in patches. Bowlers been excellent. I'm been very proud, mainly by the team ethos and the way they seem to be very much cohesive on the field. The team culture seems to be very, very good. We listening to players when they are winning man of the match. Was like someone like Marizan Cup is someone that standards are very high. She has sets very high standards for herself. You could see how upset she was, and she gave Chloe such a look when Chloe went out, and like really had to go at her because her standards are very high. But even in her post-match press conferences or post-match interviews, she's giving credit to other players in the team that have helped her also succeed. Like we've seen it with giving Sunay Luz credit, obviously because of what she did coming in and the way she did. I think she played an excellent knock. I think, in my opinion, in this particular case, better knock than Laura Wolfart, in my opinion, because we needed someone like that to keep Laura in the game, because she was getting taken out of the game slowly but surely, and she was starting to. Laura gets fidgety. That's something that we need to work towards and be aware of as players around each other. She gets fidgety when she's not facing enough balls or not getting the ball, getting runs off deliveries. So it's very important that she faces balls and she keeps that momentum moving, and she generally grows. But very proud of the woman. Very proud of the performances so far. It's very impressive. I mean, to play New Zealand and England, two teams that haven't necessarily have a great record against in World Cups, and then to beat both of them, I think that's been excellent. I think we have to live with this hope now that those players that haven't come to the party will. Someone like Lazali, I don't think we're going to see a tournament without her scoring massive runs. It can't be the case. She's too good for a player. Tasman Brits, and I think that's the nice thing of having these quality players in your team, is because you're hoping that one of them are going to come off and do well. And I'm going to live with that hope right now and going into the next game against Australia. But yeah, let's move on from that, guys. Other news, there's been some major developments with regards to the Test series. We know that the IPL players have left. Craig, you are new to the channel with regards to this topic. You haven't been here on when we spoke about this particular topic. So I want to ask you, what's your thoughts of South Africa allowing the players to go to the IPL and the players' decision to choose the IPL over playing a Test cricket for their country? What's your thoughts on that particular topic as I bring the squad on the screen?
So yeah, I mean, obviously, in the weeks leading up to the squad announcement, Elgar did kind of say that, well, he encouraged players to put their country ahead of their IPL commitments. But I think a positive way of looking at it is that it gives a few guys a fantastic opportunity to sort of put their hands up, and as cliched as that sounds, and sort of make a case for their inclusion in future squads on a more regular basis. So yeah, I mean, I think it sounds bad to say, well, it's only Bangladesh. We'll probably get away with fielding a weakened squad, but I think on the whole, I'd prefer to look at it in a positive light, and yeah, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for a few guys to put their hands up.
Mm-hmm. Now that is true, and I thought, particularly, I'm hoping here that Ryan Rickleton gets his chance now, because if he doesn't, then it's going to really pivot for a lot of fans, I feel. And also, not only that, I think it's also going to tell us a lot about the mentality when it comes to selecting and selection. Now, Kyle Zonder's been selected over here, and that was a little bit of a puzzling selection to me. I'm going to pick up the 4-day stats over here that I have in front of me. So we've got Peter Malan right on top with 5 matches, 601 runs at an average of 120, 200s and 250s. So has been in the Proteas setup before. not selected in this particular team, even though we are missing Aiden, we're missing Rassi, we're missing so many players at the moment. Yet we haven't selected Peter, so that shows where they are thinking, where their thinking is when it comes to Peter Malan. David Bellingham, we know the situation with David. Ryan Rickleton's in the team. Josh Richards has had an excellent season so far. He's averaged 55, 200s, and 150. We've got Wes Marshall that has done well, 7 matches, average. He did okay, 38. Grant McQueen has done well, Black African batter for the Titans, 482 runs, 48 average. Then you've got Ngwepe, who's also done pretty well, 443 runs. Okay, 30 average of 36. Oh, no hundreds under his name, so maybe they're not looking at him maybe as a potential test player. We've got Matthew Brzezinski on this list, 438, average 39, 2 centuries, no half centuries this season. We've got Neil Brandt, 429, average 42, 1 century, 350s. We've got Marcus Ackerman, and next in line for 470. Now I'm getting to a point here, average 52, 200 is 150. Piet van Biljon, Stian van Zyl, Rudy Second, Janeman Malan, Keegan Peterson, and then only Kayo Zondo. So Kayo has only scored 368 games in 5 matches, but he averages 73 with a century and a 50 to his name and a high score of, what is his high score? 203, double century. So there haven't been many double centurions in this tournament so far. This Janeman Mlande has scored 1. Kayo Zondo has scored 1. Peter Malan has scored 1. Others have gotten close, like Patrick Kruger got 192. But those are the only double centurions that I see over here. And then obviously Bellingham got 199. So yeah, double centurion. So what's confusing me is, do they see Kayo Zondo as the next? Now, obviously, Zubair Hamza's not here because he cited family reasons as the reason for putting out of the test series. You would probably have been that number 3 replacement or that number 3 batter that would probably play in place of whoever they want to replace, Markram. And then looking at it, to me, Kayo Zondo was never the next in line, in my opinion, with regards to that. It was Tony De Zorzi still there, who's a future prospect for South Africa, who's played SA done well there. There's been quite a few names. Werner, if it was your decision to go with who will get selected in this particular squad with Zubair Hamza pulling out, would you have gone with Kayo Zondo, or was it a surprise selection for you too?
I'm not entirely surprised. I've seen that they do have Kayo Zondo has had the favor of the selectors for a while now, and he's had a pretty good season as well, averaging 73. You can't take that away from him, though that 203 not out goes a long way into ensuring that average. But the selectors have in the past said, let me say it like this: they selected Zubair Hamza, right, based on one performance for the SAA team, right, that 100 he made in the last match. Tony De Zorzi performed in that whole series, and he has done well domestically. So I'm not sure why, if that is the way they selected Zubair Hamza, why Tony De Zorzi isn't then the next in line to get a slot. So I have always had a problem with the way we select players, and I'm still confused about how the process works. I don't think I'll ever have a true answer to how the whole process works. I've said for a while now that I thought Tony De Zorzi would be the next in line for a call-up in the middle order, and he's also a left-hander, which is another advantage. So I am not sure, to be honest. I don't begrudge Zondo being there, but Zondo is 32 now. He has had a good couple of seasons. He's an experienced pro now. He is probably in the peak of his powers at this stage, I'll say. So he'll probably do decently if he gets an opportunity, but I don't think he's going to play. That's the problem. Unless they now decide to play him ahead of Rickleton, and then there will be an outcry that he will hear for a week from the whole South African fan base. So he'll probably go into the squad and he'll carry drinks for 2 matches, and then he'll be out of the squad because then the guys of the IPL will be back. So I don't see the point, honestly.
And yes, and a lot of people are telling me that, oh no, God, it's a quota selection. It's clear that it's a quota selection. No, it's not clear that it's a quota selection. If South Africa pick a full strength team, it will be a majority player of color team. This particular squad, this team, they can make up with regards to the numbers. Let's just, if you pick a team and you look at the bowlers, for example, all of them are players of color except Darren de Pavillon. So with regards to, I'm talking about and okay, you've got Dwan Olivier as well. So we've got 3 players of color who will all probably play. Luther Sapamla, Clinton Steenman, Lazard Williams. It will be between and Dwan Olivier and De Pavlon. I think maybe one of them, maybe Lazard misses out. But even so, you got Luto, you've got Clinton, you've got Keshaf, that's 3 players of color. You've got Temba Bavuma and Keegan Peterson, that's 5. We've been comfortable with picking 5 players of color in Test cricket. We've been comfortable with doing that for quite some time now. It shouldn't suddenly this be a problem now, and that's why they pick guys on. Plus, there's other players of color that have arguably done better than him this season for the cricket. Besides that, if you take the 200 away, which you can't really take a 200 away from someone, but ultimately that 200 has boosted his average to magnificently. Where there are other players that maybe scored 1 or 2 centuries, that shows more consistency. Now, Tony De Zorzi, based on what he's done for SAA particularly, should have been next in line then, I feel, because he's done it for the SAA side, which is supposed to be our second best team. That's what we've been fed by Graham Smith. He's always wanted the SAA team to be the second best South African team. Tony De Zorzi was part of that team. So it does surprise me, especially if we're going to be looking at it from that perspective. If we're going to look at it from who should have been next in line, I'm worried about the picking order. We are continuously putting players, experienced players. Maybe they are looking at the experienced players as being, what's the word I'm looking for, Craig? You'll be able to tell me. Disposable.
Disposable. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
disposable.
if they fire, then great. But if they don't, then they just sort of fall by the wayside, and that's fine.
Exactly. Aditya, do you think that's the case? Are they using the older players almost in a way like, oh, there's a stopgap here. The risk is if they do well, they stay. If they don't, then they're gone. Is that the mentality, do you think, or am I far off the bullseye?
Honestly, I don't. I don't know because I think as Werner said earlier, there isn't a whole lot of clarity about the way that teams have been selected, and look, I don't think we need to be baited into that whole conversation about why Kaya Zondo has been selected. The average of 73 speaks for itself. You close your eyes and you feel like, does this individual deserve an international opportunity? And you determine that based on the needs of the team. Whether he should feature in the first 11, that's a separate question. But I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is. Kaya Zondo is 32, and perhaps if he was selected in the 11, he'd probably be under more pressure than most of the others if he wanted to stake a claim there. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the numbers certainly played a part in that selection. Anyone else with an average of 75 or 80 or something like that might have made the team also. So you never know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would have gone with there's Janaman Malan and Peter Malan, 2 players that have been doing really well this season. Janaman has changed his position to number 4, which is the position kind of that we are going to be needing a player. Both 3 and 4 is gone. They've gone to the IPL. So you're missing 2 important positions in your batting lineup over here that you need to replace.
To be fair, we're not missing number 3, as Keegan Peterson will always play number 3.
Oh yes, Flip, Keegan's back. I forgot completely about that. So Keegan's back. So you're gonna have 4 and 5 missing, right? Still important positions in South Africa, or maybe not 4 and 5, dependable on how they're going to line up now. So Keegan's back. That takes away a position.
It's now one spot. Have to look. It's only one spot.
Yeah. It's okay. So it's one spot between that Kaya Zondo Ryan Rickleton are going to fight for. Craig, do you see Kyle Zondo getting a spot before Ryan Rickleton, or is it straight for you, Ryan Rickleton back into the team? I mean, not back into the team, straight getting his debut to play for South Africa.
I mean, I don't know how much cognizance the selectors take of what the general sentiment among fans is, but I think all South African fans would love to see what Rickleton could produce when given an international opportunity. I mean, he's a super exciting talent, and I think in terms of building a team for the future, I think he is the sort of logical selection. I mean, as you said earlier in the show, Zondo is more of a stopgap, like in the interim, and whereas Rickleton could be a fixture in the team for a number of years to come. So I'm hoping they lean towards Rickleton, but yeah, I mean, who could possibly say what's going to happen in reality?
Yeah, no, nobody can. It's basically what we actually prefer, what we presume they're going to do, or we try to make a prediction of to see what they will do. We don't know. It's still a long way. We have the ODI series coming up first and foremost. The first game will be tomorrow. We did a preview yesterday on the show, guys, so please go ahead and look at the preview. We gave our insights into what we think. For me personally, the Zorzi should have been picked over Zondo. Personally, I think that there's maybe more legs in Zondo in Tony Zorzi's future for South Africa. I think that would have been a much better selection, in my opinion, from a future perspective. You're giving the guys that are on the fringe, they're actually on the fringe, an opportunity. Maybe they are still feeling that experienced players that have been toiling away in domestic cricket should be getting opportunities. That's how Cyril Ever got his chance. Look what Cyril Ever did, scored a century in his first game. So maybe perhaps, but there's been a mixture between the two. There's not been a consistency there with the selectors, and we've been very upset about it for quite some time. The same thing's going to happen now with Darren de Pavillon. Are they going, because he's the one player, the one bowler that has genuine pace in that batting lineup, in the bowling lineup. We know that Dwan Olive is not an express place bowler at the moment, so it almost should be between Darren de Pavillon and him that should play, because if you're basing it on the others who have been in the Proteas camps recently, Lutus Pamela, Clinton Stearman, and Lazard Williams have been in and around the Proteas teams regularly in recent times. It seems more natural for them to go with the guys that have been in the camps more recently in regular times, and then go with the guy that has been called up lately. So, but when you're looking at the situation, when you're looking for raw pace, the Pavilion should get an opportunity, because we don't have that raw pace. Now, are we going to need that raw pace? That's another story. Are we going to need the Pavilion even? Are we going to need one even? Are we going to play two spinners? That's going to be a thing as well. And then why hasn't George Linder been picked? That's another question that I want to ask, because that is the reason he missed out on the previous series, was because of getting married and etc. Then this time around should have been a straight George, you back in, because that's should be the case in the picking order, how the picking order works. Strangely enough, Simon Harmer has kept his spot. Now, you guys can fight out in the end and determine in the comment section on what is fair and what is not fair. But in my eyes, that doesn't seem very fair. When you've been told that you're only missing, or you're missing out of the team because that's what's been communicated to us, you're missing the team because you had to get married, then you go and you still play T20 challenge, and then so it's clearly not the wedding situation. And then when the Bangladesh is coming to South Africa, there's a whole host of players missing, and you still don't get selected, you don't get your spot back in the squad. Surprising to me, Aditya, don't you think? Because I mean, especially with George being his batting's been improving as well. Could have been an opportunity maybe to see him, his batting, also get an opportunity to bat as well in this team and take his batting to a new heights in Test cricket.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how George Linder has been handled so far and what the thinking is. This is exactly the sort of player that you want in your team, given, as you said, how good a batter he's become. And you do want to take advantage of that. But there needs to be more clarity about George Linder and why he's not being picked in the team, whether where he really is in the pecking order with respect to spinners. Because I think he also got a fifer against Pakistan last year, didn't he? Surely that counts. That counts for something. On wickets that weren't really turning square from ball one. So um, it's not like he's been out of form or anything of the sort. But why he is not being selected as much as he probably should be is certainly a massive question mark.
And the thing is, we're playing at Durban and PE, right? Or, at St George's. So why wouldn't you rather have the extra spinner in the squad ahead of a pace bowler? Like, even if you then decide not to play London, you decide to play Maharaj and Harmer because you want to have an attacking option against the left-handers and right-handers of Bangladesh. Why isn't George Linder at least in the squad? Because you're not going to need 5 pace bowlers. You're definitely 2 of them probably won't see a game in the series, so why do you need 2 there? You might need it. Yeah, and you have Jan Mulder. And in this series, playing at those 2 wickets, you could play a George Linder in place of Jan Mulder potentially as an all-rounder. So, yeah, I questioned the fact that Linder wasn't in the side from the start. It is a strange one to me. I mean, he didn't go to New Zealand because he asked to stay behind and play the T20 series because he knew he was not going to play in New Zealand. He knew he was going to go there. Maharaj was probably going to play at least a game, and Linder would just be carrying drinks and again not have any game time. Because since that moment, they did not pick him in the main squad for the World Cup, right? When I was very surprised that they decided to go with Bjorn Fortuin after Linder had played the whole of 2021. Since then, it's just been downhill for his opportunities. He's been barely getting a shot. He's been in and around the squad, carrying the drinks, just being that guy at the warm-ups, warming up with the rest of the guys, doing the fielding drills. Be that guy. Just that guy in the squad that everybody loves, but he's just that guy. He's not getting the game time, which is not fair at all on him. So I wonder if this is. I don't know if this is a similar case because we don't know. They don't tell us, right? Linda is not picked because this and that, or Zondo is picked because on his stats and he's ahead of Tony De Zorzi because of this and that. We don't get to hear those type of conversations, so we don't know why Linda is not in this. Did Linda say no? He wants to go early to. Is he playing county season this year? I think he is. Potentially, but I don't know what the circumstances is because Keegan Peterson is playing county cricket this year, but he'll only go after this series. So the same probably could have counted for George Linder if he is going over. I suddenly can't remember if he's going to play there. But in any case, so it's weird to me that he's not in the squad. I don't have a problem with Armour and Keshav playing in the same team. I think they can make a lethal duo. But yeah, I do feel for George Linder. I don't feel the way he has been treated is right at all.
Yeah. I just hope they make the right decisions, guys, ultimately. Okay, final thoughts, Greg, and then Aditya. I'm going to take that as Werner's final thoughts, by the way.
Fine.
I'm joking. Greg?
Unmute myself.
You there?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, you there? I can hear you. Well, now you're muted again.
Don't worry, guys. Craig is still new around here.
No, he knows this. Okay, let's go to Aditya first, and then we come back to Craig.
Well, if we go back to the original topic of discussion here about the Proteas women, one thing that we can certainly be proud of is that, as we said repeatedly, they're not playing their best cricket, but they're finding ways to win. And Marizan Cap, my goodness, she's just got veins of eyes, unbelievable. temperament under pressure. And I hope that rubs off on the rest of the team, particularly when they find themselves under pressure after cruising for large parts of the game. Um, but in saying that, can't take anything away from um, we can't take anything away from women for the way that they've performed in this World Cup, and long may that continue. But yeah, like as we said, we'd like to see them to be more clinical. As for the men, I think selection is just. I wish there was more communication. It would be easier on the players as well as for the fans. And if Ryan Rickleton doesn't get selected for this Test series against Bangladesh, I'm gonna pull whatever little hair I have left on my head.
Craig, are you there? Sun mute first. Just click it once. I think you're double tapping it. There we go. You're unmuted.
Emma, I think something is up with. Can you hear me, dude? Sorry, because it says
you fine.
Okay, cool. No, I think it's a very, very exciting time for us as cricket fanatics. I mean, I think the Proteas women, I think, are going to achieve something really, really special in the weeks to come. I mean, the fact that we 4 from 4 and we yet to play our best cricket is super, super encouraging. And yeah, I think as for the men, I don't think you can read too much into a series against Bangladesh on home soil, but nevertheless, hopefully they make a couple of exciting selections that get us as fans glued to our screens, and yeah, it should be an exciting few weeks ahead.
Mm-hmm. So guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Look here, I'm sorry that I couldn't get into the comment section.
Oh,
I'm joking, Verda. You can go.
No, can I go? All right, I'll have a final say. I think today is probably the most I've seen in this last 2 games is the most I've ever seen Marizanne Kapp smile. She's usually stone-faced, eagle-eyed, but today I've seen her smile quite a lot in the post-match presentation and in the England post-match presentation as well. So that was very good to see. I'm very happy with how the momentum Proteas have been going. So good luck to them for the huge match coming up against Australia on Tuesday. And then also good luck to the Protea men side tomorrow against Bangladesh in the first ODI. It should be an exciting one. Good to finally have some crowd back at the venue. They're playing at Supersport Park, so it should be a good one. Should be an exciting encounter. It is our main side. Hopefully we can see some contributions from somebody like Markram, who hasn't really hit the ODI scene by storm, so he'll want to make a contribution ahead of going to the IPL, and hopefully we see some convincing wins in the series. I think we really need it, obviously in terms of points, but also going into the Test match series, even if it's other players, you want to have some sort of momentum. Players like Temba, who plays both formats, will want to keep his good form going. So yeah, good exciting times, a lot of cricket around. England playing West Indies, Australia playing Pakistan. So definitely enough cricket if you are a cricket lover.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So to the guys out there, sorry I didn't get into the comments. We had a lot to cover. Obviously a big panel. When we have a big panel, it's very difficult for me to get into the comment sections, guys, because I have to obviously make sure that everybody on the panel gets a fair chance to say what they need to say on the channel. And if you're like myself and you're like Werner, we like our long rants. So generally speaking, we're going to take up some of the time. I'm sorry that we didn't get to it. If you want your questions to be seen, you need to get involved with the super chat. That's how you can force us to ask your questions out. That is an option. That's the perks of having a super chat, is that we have to ask out your question. Unless you're being racist and rude and being all sorts of funny and weird on the super chat, then I'm not going to read it out. But other than that, I'll read out your questions on the super chat. But to everybody, I think Craig's phone just died now, so let's kick him out. To everybody that has watched, thanks a lot for coming on the show. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you guys again tomorrow for another show. Obviously, we'll be doing a chat about the ODI. Hopefully, I'm going to try and do it after the game. Let's see how the game goes. Let's monitor it and see how things go. But
It's gonna be a
I'll
late
keep you.
one, right? They're starting at
Yeah.
1 o'clock, so game
gonna be a
might
late
go on
stream.
till 9, possibly 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it'll be a late show.
Yeah, so we might do a late show after the game. Let's see how things go. Otherwise, we'll get into Q&A session tomorrow, guys, as per usual at 7. You guys can ask us questions. It's going to be difficult when there's a game on. So we will figure that out and we'll let you guys know on social media. So go follow us on all social media platforms, please. We'll let you know on social media what is going down. To the guys that are new to this channel, please download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics Magazine. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Smash the like button, comment, and share. Do all of those things, please, and become a patron as well by clicking the link on the screen as well as in the description. To all the guys out there, thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Take care, and good luck to everybody that's involved with the Proteas. Hope you guys get a great game, and let's pull South Africa over the line. Take care, and cheers. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.